Alright, this is a short video designed to help you understand how to take paper 1, history paper 1. This is an old test. The prescribed subject we used to teach was peacemaking, peacekeeping, the interwar years, 1918 to 1936. The one we teach now, of course, that you'll be familiar with is apartheid in South Africa and the civil rights. That's what this will be on. It is the shortest of the history tests. Notice that it is 1 hour. So it's also the easiest because they give you sources to analyze right there in front of you, but you have that ease is offset by how quickly you need to move through this. So let's look at this old paper 1. The sources will be listed like this. Here's source A, and it tells you, it's a quote, and it tells you who it is, Paul Birdsall, an historian and diplomat writing in a specialist history book, Versailles 20 years after, in 1941. So it's a secondary source, written 20 years after the fact. Source B is the Australian Prime Minister. It's a clip from a speech to Australian soldiers in Paris in 1919. So he's a diplomat at the negotiations for Versailles, and he is, this is a primary source. Source C is Winston Churchill, who was in the government in World War I, and so he was at Versailles, and he's writing in a personal account of the First World War in 1929. So it's sort of an after-the-fact secondary source, but he was there, so it's kind of a primary source too. And then source D is a secondary source, some historians writing in 2014. So they have the benefit of hindsight, but not the benefit of being close up, being there. The last source, and they usually do a cartoon or a map or a chart or something. It's a cartoon from an American newspaper, and it does a good job of explaining, you know, who did it, when it was, and even says what little small labels say. So it's very helpful. So those are your 5 sources. Thankfully, the snippets are fairly short. So here are the questions. What, according to source A, were the problems facing negotiators in Paris? And it says, notice over here, 3 marks. Now, for answering questions 1, 2, and 3, when you want to do it fairly quickly, and 3 marks means you want to actually have in your answer 3 points, 3 distinct ideas. And then, so do that and move on. 1B says, what is the message conveyed by source E? That is the cartoon. So 2 marks, make 2 intelligent points about what the cartoon is saying and move on. You want to do number 1 in 5 or 6 minutes. You want to save as much time as possible, ultimately for the big question, which is question 4. Question 2, compare and contrast the views expressed in sources A and D about the impact of the Paris Treaty. 6 marks. Okay, we've got compare, what are the similarities, contrast, what are the differences. So you got two things for 2 sources. That should be pretty easy. You should find 3 similarities and 3 differences, and you're good. You've got your 6 ideas. Number 3, with reference to the origin and purpose, and this is before the curriculum rewrite added content. In content, assess the value and limitations of source B and source C. So you've got OPCVL, that's 5 things. You've got 2 sources. So that should give you 8 to 10 ideas. You should easily get 6. Now, the 4th question, so you want to get through that fairly quickly because the 4th question is what the examiners refer to as the fat paragraph or the mini essay. It's a longer answer. Using the sources and your own knowledge, examine the view that the settlement achieved at the Paris peace treaties was the best that could have been reached. So let's look at the history guide as to how this is assessed. Okay, so paper paper 1. So the order's changed up a little bit, and the number of marks has changed a little bit, but the idea is still the same. Question A and B, second question, I think they flipped the OPCVL and the compare and contrast, but whatever. So you'll want to have your distinct points. By the way, don't write in bullet points or number them, but if you need to make a little tick mark to make sure you've got your points, I think that'd be okay. Now, the 4th question, is 9 marks. Don't make 9 points. Stop doing that kind of counting. Instead, you're writing a little mini essay. And here's how it's graded. The 7 to 9 mark range, the response is focused on the question. And you want to have analysis. So you want to have a thesis that answers the question. Be very focused and clear. Clear references are made to the sources, and these references are used effectively as evidence to support the analysis. So the evidence is pretty easy, but you want to finally, though, have accurate and relevant knowledge demonstrated. So there's effective synthesis, a mixing of your own knowledge and the source material. So it's a little essay. You don't have to pull too much out of your head because you're going to use the sources to buttress your points, but you're going to have to bring in some additional knowledge to complete your analysis. And that is how you effectively stick paper 1.